I let Forza Horizon 5 wheel spin pick me a random car to go drifting in. I will have to upgrade, tune, and then drift whatever car I'm given from a wheel spin. Let's get our wheel spin on the go. I'm gonna go over to my Horizon. We have 7 wheel spins here. The first car we get out of these 7 wheel spins is the one we will be using. And the first thing we got is a horn, which is not great. So hopefully we can get ourselves a car on this next spin here. And we've actually got an easy drift car, M3 1997 BMW. This thing is a beast. I'm not going to complain. This car is definitely a great base for a drift car. I think what we do is take this car around stock first and we can see how it turns out before we end up going and actually tuning this thing, because I want to see what it handles like before and then after. It does sound pretty cool from stock though. It's a great looking car as well. I am a BMW simp, so I do love my BMWs. This is a really great BMW, rear wheel drive as well, like most BMWs. This car could do with a bit more speed, but I can't really complain considering it's completely stock and it is a very old car, although it doesn't actually look as old as you would probably think it is. I think it's time to jump straight into the upgrades. Probably going to start with engine upgrades and get those things sorted first before we go on to the visual stuff. Well, I've actually gone back on my word and I want to take a look at the body kits first. I definitely am liking the look of that Rocket Bunny kit there. This one's kind of cool, but the Rocket Bunny one to me is definitely one I think I'm going to be using. I've gone with the Rocket Bunny kit. Now I'm definitely going to go with a 4-litre V8 and then I'm going to head over and get a dual turbo kit for this so we can get some nice twin turbos on this. This is going to be super cool. Springs and dampers, definitely going to get the drift ones. Going to slam this car down as much as I can. Going to grab myself a 4-speed drift transmission. Going to go with some 245s in the front and probably 285s in the rear. Now I'm a huge fan of the T37s, these ones here, but I'm not actually going to use them because I use them quite a lot. First, I'm actually going to change the color of the car so then I can kind of match the wheels to the color. I feel like that'll be a lot easier than picking the wheels then matching it to the color. I feel like start with the color, then we'll work down to the wheels, but I'm going to go with the red. Going to slightly tint these windows too. Not going to black them out completely, but going to tint them slightly. I'm still not sure 100% what wheels. I might go with these OZ ones. They look very like deep dish kind of style. Might go with these and kind of turn them into chrome instead of bronze. Let's see how these look now that they are chrome. I think they look a lot better. I actually quite like these. They're looking very different to what I would usually pick, which is kind of cool, I think. Now, I didn't put the bigger engine in it. You could have actually put a bigger engine in this car, made more power, etc., and change it to all-wheel drive to get more score, but I want to keep it as close as I can to an actual drift car, keeping it rear-wheel drive and obviously turboing it so we can get some really cool drifts. At this point, I decided I would tune the car and get it up to how I wanted it to be and leave the gearing to last. Boys, this car is looking super clean. I'm really loving this. You've got to let me know down in the comments, were these wheels a hit or miss? I'm not 100% sure on them, but I really do think they're a bit different to what I usually go with, so I like them. I'm going to be really interested to see how this handles now. I've tuned it slightly. Things are feeling very good, although I do need to work on the gears. I can already tell you that. Let's jump on and over to a drift course. Let's go with Farmland Trail there. I think I might go with that one, and we'll see how this goes. I'm at the Farmland Trail. I'm going to attempt my first kind of drift run in this car. Now, keeping it rear-wheel drive actually makes drifting in Forza Horizon 5 so much more fun. People who drift with the all-wheel drive cars, I'm not a great fan of them. However, this rear-wheel drive car here is actually putting down a seriously decent run for its first go. It's not actually too bad. Granted, I probably needed a bit more power out of the car here. Maybe the gearing needs to be sorted a bit so I can run that 4th gear, because currently 4th gear is basically a useless gear. There isn't much power in it. When I swap to 4th, I basically start to run out of power and I really have to kind of keep myself at a long pace. I don't know how to explain it really, but 4th gear basically sucks. I mean, this isn't bad at all. 210,000. That's a new PB as well in this little car that we've just made here. So I'll happily take that. Let's go back and try it again. Now, I want to try it from the other angle. This angle here does not seem quite as promising as the other one. I believe going down here is so much easier to get the score than going back up it. But we'll see if I can actually level it out or get anywhere close to the score that we've got. However, that start there was pretty awful compared to what I done last time. Feels like I'm not getting as great angles, but this car is looking good while we're doing it. Loving the Forza Horizon 5 drift cam as well. If you haven't enabled drift cam on this game, you've got to do it if you love drifting, because it really does make this game so much better to drift in. Just, oh, it feels so much more like a set of course of drifting, which is awesome, and I absolutely love it. Now, the points aren't anywhere near as good as I was hoping, but we might be able to drag out a few more points towards the end. 203,000, not so great. I mean, on the way back down, I've changed a few things for the gearing, so hopefully I can run this 4th gear, although it feels like I messed that 4th gear up again. I really need to work on that final drive, especially get that 4th gear gear going. The first, second, and third gear seem really clean, but when I switch to fourth like this, it doesn't quite have the power I want it to. It does put up a pretty decent effort, but I really need it to give me some more oomph because I'm really running low there. I can't feather the throttle. I kind of have to be flat out, and it's still quite struggling to keep in that power range that I'm needing. But third gear is doing bits for me. It's an absolute blessing. Definitely going to need to work on that fourth gear if I want to be able to improve my score. Although we're actually putting in a solid run here. 203,000 again. Nowhere near as good as we got on our first run, but I'll take it. Let's just take a look. Where are we on the leaderboards? Hopefully we're in like the top 5. We're at the top 6. Hopefully we can get down to top 5. Maybe even top 1, but not so sure about that. If I can make it into the top 3%, I'd be happy. Top 1% is quite hard to do on tracks like this. These longer tracks are very hard to do because people can build up so much score over the course of time, and especially people using all-wheel drive builds. They seem to be very broken. I honestly don't quite understand Forza drifting score system. Doesn't quite make sense. Like, to me, that there was a very clean drift. Using rear-wheel drive makes things look super awesome, but you can just whack on an all-wheel drive and basically keep yourself at an almost kind of 90-degree angle whilst driving. It really doesn't make sense, but you know, I'll take a top 1% because realistically, I'm not going to get anywhere near a top 100 or anything unless, I thought that was the end there, unless I use an all-wheel drive build. But 215,000 in a rear-wheel drive car that we just made. Whereabouts does that take us now? What are we at? So we are currently in the top 4%, almost there. I want to make it into that top 3%. I'm really going to have to make this a full send and hopefully be able to get us into that top 3%. Now, this is looking like a super clean run already. Feels really good. The angle's been very nice as well. We can definitely extend these drifts just by pulling on that e-brake. Hopefully building up a bit more score as well. But I want to keep myself at a slight angle at all times, just so I've got that score currently building up constantly whilst we're going around. Even if it is by a tiny bit, any points are better than no points. So things are feeling really good this run though. I feel like everything has got quite dialed in. Maybe I'm just taking a better line than I've previously done, but we're looking at actually beating our personal best here with 226,000. That's a crazy score. Well, we made it to the top 2%, but can you look at this guy? Mazda MX-5 A-rated, who is number 7 on the leaderboards. Yeah, that's very strange. I want to see a run from someone who's at the top of the leaderboard. I don't think they're legit at all, because 2 million score on this course would be absolutely insane. I don't even know how you would get that. You would basically be after doing like a 90-degree drift the whole way around, which doesn't make any sense. So I'd really love to see how these people build up such a big score, because that to me just doesn't seem right, especially a guy in an MX-5 that's A-rated. Doesn't seem right at all to me there. Would love to see what he has done to achieve that score. I'm gonna say probably cheated, but if he hasn't, I would love to see the winning run. If anybody knows where that run is, I would love to see it. That would be really funny and probably quite interesting to see how people actually get crazy scores. 227,000 and new personal best for us. And just like that, boys, we've made it into the top 2%. I'm very happy with this car. It's done us proud, and we've actually made a really cool drift car. Granted, we got given a really good car to drift in. If you want to see more of these, let me know in the comments. I would love to see what other crazy cars we get.